I'm going to bring in by phone Jody Hice, former member of Congress from Georgia, now special advisor here at the Family Research Council. Jody, thanks so much for taking time to join me here on Washington Watch on this day.
Well, Tony, thanks for having me. Great program, and very grateful for the way you're covering this from every angle on this critical day in our country, and in many ways a very, very dark day in our country.
Well, I want to be very forthright and upfront. Now, these allegations of the president and the payments that are alleged here that are the subject of these fraudulent business transactions are basically payments that were made, hush money. And now it's really an accounting issue that is at the heart of these charges. All right, so I want to put the legal issues aside, and I want to address the moral issues. We addressed this when this came up, when the president was running for office back in 2016. This does not measure up to the standard by which we like to see as Christians in this country. In fact, I was not an early supporter of the president for these very reasons. But he said, look, I realize I need to do this. And so as a president, I saw nothing like this during his time in the White House. In fact, what I saw were policies that were 180 degrees removed from what he had, what had been alleged his lifestyle prior to becoming president. So, I see this, Jody, as simply the president being a target because of his policies and the way he governed as president.
Well, I don't see any other way to look at this, to be very honest with you. And I will say, look, all of us have fallen and come short of the glory of God. And as we're entering into this week of Easter, we understand the love and the grace of God to reach out and forgive us and transform us through giving his son. And that's what Easter is all about. So, let's keep that hope in mind. The incredible, undeserved forgiveness and grace of God extended to all of us. And beyond that, Tony, it's true that every single one of us one day will stand before God and will give an account of our lives. And at the end of the day, God will have the final word over each of our lives. But until then, we are here in a world trying to stand for justice, trying to stand for that which is right. God loves those who stand for justice and the right thing. And this is a time where the two-tiered system that is becoming so blatantly obvious to every American citizen right now as it relates to justice is not only un-American, it's unacceptable. It is wrong in every way. Justice, Lady Justice, is blindfolded. It doesn't matter your political party. It doesn't matter your points of view on whatever it is. The law should be applied to everyone, and where crimes have been committed, then there should be consequences. But where there is the strong arm of government simply going after political opponents, that is injustice, that is wrong. It's unacceptable in this country, and we need to be vocal on that part.
When you look at the policies of this president, and this does not justify, the end does not justify the means. These are things the president that are alleged prior to him being president. So we're not talking about anything he did during his time as president. We're talking about things that occurred before he was president, the behaviors that occurred beforehand. But when you look at his policies, we saw the overturn of Roe v. Wade as a result of the appointments that he made to the Supreme Court, the nominations. We saw policies that were consistent with a recognition of not just science, but reality of man, woman, all the sexual issues that we see this administration pushing. And so, yes, we support him because I think, correct me if you see it differently, Jody, but I believe this president is under assault not just because of his policies, but because he represents a movement that threatens the left in taking back control of our country, whether it be at the school board level or whether it be at Congress or whether that be in the White House.
I think that's 100% what the issue is here, and that's what is so disturbing about it. And I was honored to be able to serve all 4 years in Congress while President Trump was in the White House, had many opportunities to be with him, got to know him in a pretty real way. And what you're talking about and describing about him was phenomenal. He was relentless about going after American values, standing with the Constitution, and going after the deep state like no one else we've ever seen in our lifetime. And I think those are the issues that have created him to be such a threat to the left, right. And as a result, he now finds himself an enormous target.
Now, to be honest, to be completely candid, Jody, you and I would have gone about it differently.
No, there's no question about that.
Our Twitter accounts are much different. We would have said things differently. I mean, the president is clearly a work in progress, and again, vouch for everything the president did. But when I look at his policies and I look at the choice that we had as evangelicals, as Christians in this country, between him and Hillary Clinton, there was no choice. And I feel an obligation, I'll be quite candid, I feel an obligation for a man who came in, took the heat in advancing policies that we advocated for. Now that he's under attack, I feel an obligation to defend, number one, the rule of law, and the fact that there is a disparity here in the justice that he is being denied.
Well, that's what bothers me so much. Look, his behavior is his behavior. And as I said, he will stand before God with that. I don't know, and I guess we'll see if any of that behavior rises to the level of criminal activity. I've not seen or heard anything that does. But his behavior is something he will give an account for. But the two-tiered system of law that is unfolding here is what is so disturbing and just outright wrong. You mentioned earlier issues with Hillary Clinton and Eric Holder, and right now the Biden family. And, I mean, we have a whole list of things. We're watching pro-abortionist vandalize pregnancy resource centers with virtually no consequence whatsoever, and people who are doing virtually nothing but prayer for pro-life causes find themselves in trouble. I mean, the double standard is frightening, and it simply cannot exist if we are going to continue to have the republic of freedom that we have had in years past. This is a potential massive turning point for our country, and that's what makes it such a critical hour.
And we need to be praying. We need to pray. We need to vote. We need to stand. Those three things are so apt to where we stand today. Jody Hice, thanks so much for joining us. We're out of time. Always great to talk with you.
Likewise, Tony. God bless.